All right, hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Pikey Podcast, coming to you from Austin, Texas, and hopefully be bringing you a bit of crack here with your hosts, Rob and Connor. And we're going to be chatting about anything and everything that comes to our minds. And today, our first episode, we're going to be sticking mostly to what we know, and that's going to be football, a bit of banter, and just the latest happenings around the world of sport. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and don't hesitate to leave us some feedback on what you'd like to hear us talk about, because we'll be happy to spout off about just about any nonsense that you can think of. Connor, how's it going?
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very enjoyable day today, very enjoyable weekend, and just looking forward to having a bit of crack and talking shit.
Yeah, I'd say I'm still a little bit recovering from the weekend, still trying to rehydrate there. We had a big old bus tour around Central Texas on Saturday, and it was quite the display of Pikeydom.
Yeah, it was. Like, we didn't really know where we were for our finish, because we were just stunned out. It was like, we may as well have been in West Clare, to be honest.
I think we made it closer to San Antonio than we were to Austin at some point. But we're going to start with talking about what we know, and that's going to be Premier League football. And how about that unbelievable goal from Daniel Sturridge to save Liverpool a point on Saturday? That was just a brilliant strike, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something we didn't have last year. We had the likes of Dom Solanke and whoever else was there. But now we've got Shaqiri, we've got Sturridge, we've got Lallana to come back. Sturridge is looking fit, looking hungry. He's running around a bit more than he used to, which is great to see. He's looking fit, and he could hit 15 goals this year.
Fairly harsh on Dominic Solanke now. English international.
One cap doesn't count.
We'll definitely be talking about the international game later. But so Liverpool coming off that point, big one this Wednesday here against Napoli, and they're looking to extend their lead at the top of Group C of the Champions League. And now Napoli, they should come bursting out the blocks, you'd expect. I watched their 0-0 draw in Belgrade against Red Star, and that was about the worst match I've seen this season. I've watched Newcastle every week.
They lost 3-1 to Juventus too on Saturday. Started well. Dries Mertens opened the scoring actually, and then they kind of capitulated. Ronaldo with 3 assists, Mandzukic with 2. I think Bonucci got the other one. Ancelotti's gone in there, hard act to follow with Sarri gone. But Ancelotti's a good manager, knows how to win in Europe, and they have a good record at home.
Yeah, and they're already a distant second there in Serie A. They're already 6 points behind unbeaten Juventus, but I think we'll be coming back to that team later, especially with the big news with Ronaldo. So you think they might be in with a chance there of chasing them
down? 6 points. Juventus have a lot of know-how in that team, and I can't see them that 6 point lead slip, even if Ronaldo does end up behind bars.
Yeah, and I was a little sad there to see Napoli letting go of Pepe Reina in the close season there. I'm always a big fan of his. Yeah. And so they've already placed Lazio, Milan, Fiorentina. 5 wins out of 7. That's not too bad of a start for them.
Yeah. But they're a good team. Some very good players. Insigne, Dries Mertens. They got a new goalkeeper. Is it Ospina's in goals now, or the sub-keeper from Watford that was from last year?
Oh, jeez. And that's Orestes Karnezis that we're thinking of there. 15 appearances on loan at Watford last year. And so, they definitely have some players that are used to playing in big games. And I was reading the quote from Alisson there, and he said that he had a good time going there with Roma last year. But he said it was a tough test. They had 24 attempts on goal, 13 on target. I made 11 saves and conceded 2 goals. Said the only time I played there, it was one of the toughest games of the season for us. And they had the same basis of the team for 3 or 4 years. And that's a good point too. Callejon, Insigne, Marek Hamsik, they got some solid players there in Napoli. It's going to be a good test.
Yeah, they're a good team. They'll be hard to beat at home. Milik there as well. He's a good goal scorer, Polish. Marek Hamsik is actually, he's gone from an attacking midfielder back to kind of dictating play like Jorginho. So it's a change up there from Ancelotti.
Yeah, and I saw there as well. They've been moving Peter Zielinski, another Polish player. He's playing more out towards the left these days, and he's got a really nice foot on him. Yeah. And the Naples journalist Andrea Falco said about the atmosphere on Wednesday, it's going to be loud, hot, and passionate. Yeah. Well, that's got me interested.
Yeah, look, it's. I just hope the Liverpool fans go there prepared and stay out of trouble. To be honest, we don't want another Roma incident.
Well, speaking of trouble, there's one man that's really in trouble in the Premier League, and that's Jose Mourinho. And
Nice segue.
yeah, thank you very much. I'm very proud of that one. But you think this is going to be just about the end of his time at United?
Yeah, I think he's got the bad dose of the third season syndrome now. It's getting worse. I think he made some crazy selection decisions against West Ham. Scott McTominay playing right of a back three. He's one of those players that you say to yourself, what is the point of him? He is, I don't know what Mourinho sees in him. Maybe it's the 6 foot plus frame, but and where did the first goal come from? It was Felipe Anderson getting in behind him, so Mourinho needs to take the blame for that. But I think they're on a slippery slope now.
And you mentioned Scott McTominay there, and the big thing that's been making the rounds today around the internet is the clip from the newspaper about the sprinting statistics from that 3-1 defeat to West Ham. And McTominay right there near the bottom, 2 sprints in 90 minutes that he completed there. Even though his speed might not be too fast, still that's a real indicative of a lack of work rate there.
Yeah, so some of those sprinting stats are like the manager is fighting for his life basically, and you see the likes of Lukaku there with 4 sprints in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 1 sprint every 20 or so minutes, like for a professional footballer, over 100 grand a week, manager fighting for his life. It's just a disgrace really. Actually, I remember watching the first half, Lukaku and Martial up front, and 2 of them were just standing there. Declan Rice at the ball, he took a look over his shoulder. 2 boys wouldn't run, took another look. Then Martial, when he had the ball passed, eventually decided to make a token run. It was absolutely disgraceful.
I know a thing or two about making the token run after a lost cause. I saw that and I noticed that, and that was very clearly just a spoof of a run.
Yeah.
And the big one that stuck out to me there, you're talking about the manager fighting for his life at Robert Snodgrass, 18 minutes, 5 completed sprints to Lukaku's 4 over 90 minutes. And I think that says a lot right there, especially for a guy who, Lukaku, when he's working hard, boy, he's just about unplayable when he's at the top of his game. And
yeah.
I don't know if it's fatigue. He's played about 100 matches over the last 18 months, or just doesn't fit in with the manager, or what's going on with him. But he is far, far from his best right now.
Some days he just doesn't seem at the races. Yeah. If you ever watch him from set pieces, if I was an opposition attacker from a set piece, I would earmark him and go for him, because once you start moving, he's just in the land. He's in dreamland most of the time. You can't trust him on set pieces, and now he's not even scoring goals. So I don't know. Maybe a little stint on the bench might serve him good.
Speaking of set pieces, how about that strike from the Liverpool loanee Harry Wilson for Derby at Old Trafford last week in the League Cup? What a strike that was! Yeah,
Harry Wilson's a very good player, very good finisher. I think he scored well over 20 goals for under 23s last year at Liverpool. He reminds me very much of Salah, left-footed, cutting in from the right, lovely. You know he's going to hit it on his left, but you just don't know when. But that free kick was unbelievable.
It's going to be a hard man to sneak by in the Liverpool team sheet, but boy, what a talent he sure looks like. And if he doesn't make the grade at Liverpool, he's certainly going to be a fine player, I think.
Yeah, they'll get some good money for him if eventually he moves on.
One of the things I really enjoyed about that goal there was in the celebration, he's waving the 5 fingers up at the Old Trafford crowd there.
Reminiscent to Torres and a few more like that.
Speaking back to their defeat to West Ham, Paul Pogba asked about their performance after the match. His reply was, "What, you want me dead?" And there's a man that's really fallen out of favor with the manager, and kind of indicative of how, Jose Mourinho, he really seems to have lost that locker room entirely. They really don't seem to be playing for him. And when he's commenting about how he's up for the match this week in the Champions League, he said, "Well, I don't really know how the players are feeling about that. You're one of the elite managers in the world, supposedly. You should have a firm grasp on your dressing room," and it really does not seem to be the case there.
Yeah, I think he's lost his touch, basically. He doesn't have full control of that dressing room. And he said today some players care more than others. I just think if he sees December, he'll be lucky. But going on to Pogba, I think Pogba's been a disgrace, really. For a guy with that much talent, World Cup behind him, you'd think he'd move on after that. He's all the talent in the world, but I think he lacks a bit of drive, balls. I think tactical awareness. I don't think he's a very smart, intelligent football player. I think he's off the cuff, great passing ability, big strong frame, but I don't know. He needs either needs to go, or he needs someone like Zidane or someone like that to grab a hold of him, bring him to the next level. But it's hard to see.
As far as mental toughness goes, it's only October 1st. You're only 7 games into the Premier League season. You're 2 matches into the Champions League campaign. It seems pretty early to be that mentally out of it for where we are on the calendar. Even it's not the depths of February. It's the beginning of October. The season's just underway, and that squad is just a complete mess. And I was watching earlier a clip from, I believe it was BT Sport, and they had Steve McManaman and Jermaine Genius talking about the differences between leaders that they had in their careers. You had like a Tony Adams, who would be a real chest beating type of captain, or Jermaine Genius was talking about how when he was at Tottenham, how one thing that he really enjoyed doing was being the go-between the manager and the younger players who were just getting bedded into the team and teaching them how to be professionals and things like that. And so, having been around myself as some background, I've been a broadcaster for years and around several different professional sports teams, and getting to see the different kinds of leadership abilities. And you should know it yourself too, from having been a high-level athlete yourself, that different leaders lead in different ways. And it's just abundantly clear that there is no leader in that Manchester United dressing room. Whichever way you would want your leader to act, there's no one doing anything of the sort there, it seems like.
No, they're just a whole lot of individuals playing as individuals. They're missing your Roy Keane, your Giggs, whatever like that, your Yap Stam, something like that. Someone to grab the game. When the game is going against you, they're missing something like that.
Well, and you saw it from Mark Noble for West Ham even at the weekend.
It's a bad job when Mark Noble is making you look bad.
And it's also not necessarily the best look either when you have Marouane Fellaini being the hardest working man on the pitch either. And there's a player that I've always liked him, I've always rated him, but yet again, he's one of the top options for a Manchester United side. That when we were growing up, that's the biggest side in the world. And again, for the 3rd straight season under the 3rd straight manager that they've had, he is the option B for that side every year. And I credit to him too. He stands up and he does everything a manager asks of him.
Yeah, he got his new contract in the summer. You'd think he might relax and regress, but he's actually got better. He's protecting. Well, he's trying to protect that back 3, back 4 with him and Matic. And then when they need a goal, he's thrown up top. He is a threat from those high balls in. Like he got the equaliser against Derby in the last minute. Personally, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I hate to see him in the last 10 minutes coming in as trying to defend a set piece against him, because he throws himself at it, and he's all elbows, and he's ignorant, and he's physical, and it's just. Fair play to him.
I do enjoy his ignorant manner of playing too. It's very agricultural.
Yeah, it is. And the big hair adds another foot on top of him.
Looks a bit like a microphone, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks.
But so they have United a big one. Tomorrow, Valencia coming to Old Trafford, and they've had a tough start to the season as well. They've only just picked up their first win of the season this past Saturday against I believe it was Sociedad, and. Marcelino, he's saying that they play a physical brand of football, and he's looking forward to putting his squad up against another physical side.
Yeah, they go with 2 up top, Batshuayi or Rodrigo or Kevin Gamero. They've got some good players in the middle of the field like Danny Parejo. Kondogbia is a big lad, big strong lad. He's like a left-footed Pogba. But I think they'll get better as the season goes on. But I think United should have too much fun.
Yeah, I'd agree as well there. Like, they got Coquelin, and we've seen what he's had over the years. Yeah, and you'd think United in the middle might be pretty strong. Or at least you'd hope.
You'd hope.
For if you were supporting them.
If Coquelin comes there and dominates that game, it's time to go.
Yeah, and they dropped their Champions League opener 2-0 to Juventus, and it's a day that Ronaldo got his very soft red card.
Yeah.
And, still didn't look like much of a threat to score, even with the talent up front playing that 4-4-2.
Yeah, especially with Juventus down to 10 men. So, like, they were down to 10 men before 2 goals went in even, so it doesn't look good. But they got off the mark the weekend, so that might give them a bit of confidence.
Absolutely, and as Marcelino said, he said they have a very high potential in attack with players who cost 70 million euros. They're strong in the air, prepared, and conditioned to fight for the maximum. And that's a strong compliment from a man who really puts a lot of premium on his teams being very well conditioned and physical too. So I think that actually should be a decent enough matchup, and probably a Premier League type matchup with the way that they try to play their football.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a shootout with both sets of strikers, with the defenders that both teams have. So could be a good open game.
Yeah, and just to finish the last few thoughts here on Manchester United, Jimmy Carragher today, he said, quote, from the last 2 games I've seen, they were not far short from disgraceful performances. And he goes on from there, but I think that may say enough right there. They were fairly disgraceful performances.
Yeah, I think he summed it up pretty good there now.
And now there's rumors as well going around today that they'll bust up between Alexis Sanchez and the manager as well. And the manager telling him that he'll never again play for United. Well, we'll see about that. I have suspicion he may be in the team tomorrow.
He wasn't in the squad this weekend, but you just don't know. They need him firing, but I think he looks like a guy that's bereft of any ideas or just confidence.
I'm definitely interested to see what happens there, and that's something I think we've definitely not heard the last of. Just the whole soap opera going on there at Old Trafford. I think that's going to be a long-running thing. And who are they going to bring in if they do let Mourinho go? Is it going to be Zinedine Zidane? That was the rumor I read today, that he'd be coming in with Patrice Evra on the staff.
Yeah, Zinedine Zidane, did a great job at Real Madrid, but he started off from the bottom there. He was at the B team. He was Mourinho's assistant for a while. He was Ancelotti's assistant. He had world class players. He had winners. Another thing that might keep him away from United is he doesn't speak English. So you don't want to go in halfway through the season, not speak the language, and look, it's not a great situation to be going into.
One of the criticisms I was reading of him was that tactically he's only got his 4-1-2-1. He's pretty much got his way of wanting to play, but that he's an excellent man manager. But to me that said, that's exactly what they need in there. But who else would there be? Alan Pardew's available. Alan Kirbishley.
Big Sam.
Oh boy, wouldn't that be something? I think they're just about a riot there.
Big Marlow went up front.
For how much they hated having David Moyes in there.
Yeah.
I'd say they'd be wishing for David Moyes. At least they were stable back in those days.
They were stable, yeah.
And he brought in both Fellaini and Mata, who were both still playing big roles in the team there.
I think Mata gets a raw deal there, really. I think they could do with his guile there.
Yeah.
He's a good man to knit the play together, and he always gets a goal when he plays.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And we mentioned his name a couple times here. We'll touch on it briefly, but there was a report in the German news weekly Der Spiegel last week about a Cristiano Ronaldo settling a American rape case from about 8 or 9 years ago, and that the lady that he had settled with over the sexual assault allegations had decided to waive her rights to privacy and the settlement, hoping to get the case reopened against him. And that happened about 2 hours before we started recording today, that the case has been reopened by the Las Vegas police. And as reported in the original article, a medical examination had been conducted immediately after the assault, complete with full DNA swabbing, and the lady's injuries had been photographed and cataloged. And some of the damning information from that article was Ronaldo fairly well admitted to her version of events.
I saw Ronaldo on his Instagram saying that it was fake news. I think his PR team are going to kill him over that. That was a ridiculous decision. His agent George Mendes must be going off his head, because that was a stupid move.
But with Spiegel, they're a very well respected journalistic organization. I've read that article. I have a degree in journalism, and the reporting there seems very solid and sound. And from what I was reading as well, that part of the dilemma there was with the lady's lawyer. He was pretty much a traffic court lawyer, ambulance chasing. Definitely not someone to be going up against this big international sexual assault type case.
Yeah.
And they'd settled for $375,000 US, and that she had to be silent and never mention the incident again. And so she's waiving that now to bring out some higher profile attorneys who have more experience with bigger cases here. And as you were saying with Mendes, he's got to be pulling his own hair out there with what's going to happen there.
Yeah, it's interesting where the story has come out of again.
Coming out of Germany as well, yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there with that. And again, all of this is allegations,
yes.
Allegedly.
We don't want to get this podcast shut down before it even gets
before we even get on the air.
Although it could be the making of us.
That could be as well. Yeah,
a bit of controversy, get things going, get the ball rolling.
I'd say we're controversial enough in our own lives that we don't need to be manufacturing.
Yeah, look, if Cristiano wants to come on and tell his side of the story, we'll do an open interview with him.
Welcome anytime, and also for any sponsors that want to come out, we are available and willing to take your money in exchange for a plug.
Yeah,
we will whore ourselves out for very little money.
Very little, anything at all, really.
Maybe a few cans even. I got an awful thirst working up here. So a few other things to talk about here. Ryder Cup just wrapped up. Good one for Europe. They took a resounding 17.5 points to 10.5 points win in the golf. Thomas Bjorn really selected a great team there. Jose Mourinho could learn a thing or two from his man management. As far as the American side goes, Phil Mickelson, he looked totally past it. Tiger Woods, coming off a big win last week at the Tour Championship, he looked completely out of steam, just emotionally and physically spent. And he's in his mid-40s. He just has back fused, kind of.
Yeah, I think last week took a lot out of him, getting that win over the line. I think he's played 7 out of 9 weeks, and he's not exactly a young man anymore.
Yeah.
So actually, there was reports. I was listening to reports yesterday, and they were saying that he looked like an old man going around the course. But I think the great thing that Europe have is a great team spirit, and I think that got them over the line. Like the USA had way better players, a lot more of the top 10. Woods, Mickelson, lads with serious experience, Johnson, speed. But I think the team spirit of Europe got him over the line.
Yeah, and I was sitting on the couch there yesterday, recovering from our little bus journey, and a team I was impressed with all weekend, Francisco Molinari and Tommy Fleetwood. And as you said, just the team spirit there. Golf not a team sport, but those two boys look like they've been playing together, all their lives as a team, and they really just dominated their matches all throughout. And we saw, the never reserved Patrick Reed, the Masters champion, who has quite the reputation, allegedly is a bit of a dickhead, to say the least. Yeah, and you've seen the clips of him, called himself an asshole.
Yeah. Even he knows it.
Yeah, and he had some choice words for, the local boy, Jordan Spieth, who was just about the quietest and least assuming person in the world. And, you got a little taste of that infighting there. And yeah, Europe, better team, better results, deserved win there. And the thing I like to see was this morning Rory McIlroy's already looking ahead to 2020, and he wants Patrick Harrington to captain the European side.
Yeah, Patrick Harrington might be a good captain. The only problem with Party is he might change their swings the night before or something like that. Tweak something in their games. He's known to tweak things every now and again when things are going well. But I think McIlroy loves the team ethos, and I think he loves that. I think maybe the bit of bite has gone out of him on the individual game. But I just think he loves the team game. Doesn't want to let the boys down.
No, he does seem like he'd be quite the lad to have around around the dressing room. Yeah,
he's a popular lad.
Yeah. Now moving on a little bit. So my friend, I was telling about our little podcast idea. He said, when we start talking about the betting, came up with the name of the segment, Premature Evaluations.
Oh, nice.
That was a good one. Yeah. Irish Granny as well from Mayo.
Oh, good.
But so the reason why we start with this is Paddy Power. They've suspended betting on Declan Rice switching his international allegiance to England, and so we bring it back there. You mentioned him earlier with his strong performance the other day. 3 caps for Ireland. 19 years old. Looks like he's going to be wearing that white of the 3 Lions.
Yeah, I think he's a goner, to be honest. And it would have been hard for him to come back, I think, into the Irish squad anyway. But the likes of James McLean looking to go through him in training and stuff like that. I think he doesn't see much of a future for the Irish team. I think financially, a move to England would be a lot better off for him. His price tag goes up, could go up 10, 15 million, 20 million.
As for sponsorship deals as well.
Sponsorship deals as well. He's only 19. I think he could be. I think he definitely would have been a future Ireland captain. But I think he's got something about him. He keeps the game nice and simple. He tracks runners from midfield. He gets the ball. He plays simple passes left and right. And he has two very young centre halves behind him for West Ham, Balbuena and Diop. I think he's doing a good job of minding them.
Yeah, he does look very strong, for a player of his age as well. He's playing well beyond his years, and boy, the proof is in the pudding there with that result. He looked fantastic against United the other day. Yeah. And one man that's been very vocal about the Declan Rice situation is another English-born Irish international. That's Kevin Kilbane, and he has had some very strong words for Declan Rice. And I think I personally think it's a little bit unfair to have gone so critical and saying, why would you have done it in the first place? Only because he is so young. I do think that was a little harsh. Maybe the young man didn't really know what he wanted to do so much. But that's a tough thing to say to abandon a country that you say you're all in for like that.
Yeah, I think Kilbane was a bit over the top. I think he said a lot in the heat of the moment. Declan Rice has changed agents during the summer, so he's trying to negotiate a new contract. So maybe if he declares for England, there'll be a few more pounds in it for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that England squad as well, they've got a good squad. They look like they're having a lot of fun. They're just off making the semi-final of the World Cup. They've got a lot of positives going for them there. And where is Ireland going? What's that's a bit of a mess there.
Don't depress me.
Well, I've got a few more points here to depress you with. I'm sorry.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. Well, Jason McAteer has some thoughts on why on what started all of this. He thinks he thinks that Declan Rice was privy to Roy Keane and Harry Arter having their blow up, and that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, was seeing something that he did and unprofessional come through. And Roy Keane, his personality, you mentioned earlier, wouldn't necessarily jive with the modern player so much, and a bit of a controversial man to have in that dressing room too for an international side, Roy Keane.
Yeah, I don't know what he really adds to the whole thing. I think he's driving players away.
Yeah,
he should be one of those people you go to ask him for advice. I don't think he's a great coach. I don't know what he adds to it. He's very confrontational. I don't think Martin O'Neill, I think he's a good manager either. I think he's past his sell-by date. All you hear him talking about is his 2 European Cups and talking about Brian Clough. But I think that's no longer relevant, I don't think.
No, not in the modern game. I wouldn't think so either. And but the problem is there as well. They've both just signed new deals as well. John Delaney happy to open up the pocketbook there. I think when you mention that man's name, I think you have the root of all the problems in the Ireland setup right there.
Yeah, I think we were talking about football IQ there earlier on. I think there's a man with very little football IQ. I was actually at an awards night one night, and John Delaney was presenting awards and medals and stuff like that, and he said, my name is John Delaney, whatever. I'm the guy that bought all the Irish boys pints at the Euros. That was basically his claim to fame. I was like, oh my god, this lad is a tool.
I remember reading about that at the time and thinking it was a bit of a cringe moment. If he's bringing it up himself, but then who do they bring in? Do you try to buy out Michael O'Neill from the North? He's doing a great job with them. Mick McCarthy's available to bring him around for another go. I've always been a big fan of Mick. Even when you had that awful side at Sunderland, I think the old one in the hole gif always cracks me up as well. I like Mick.
Yeah, but he did a good job at Ipswich.
He did, and
now.
Boy, they're having a terrible start to the season, Ipswich, and I think
careful what you wish for.
Exactly, they're Tractor Boy fans. They're getting exactly what they wished for. They're doing awful.
Yeah. No, Mick did a brilliant job with Ireland that time. But in saying that, he had good players.
Yeah, he did.
He had good players.
You had your Damien Duff.
Yeah, you've Robbie Keane. That's exactly what we don't have now.
Yep.
They were world class players basically at that time. A good solid defence. Richie Dunn, Stevie Finnan, Ian Hart. Good players.
Champions League winner, Steve Finnan, right there.
Yeah, we killed for a Champions League winner now. Even a Champions League player would do it now.
Yeah, and even looking back, like, thinking about how Wes Houlihan pretty much got wasted by the Ireland setup. But at the same time, there's a top level championship, bottom half Premier League type flair player too.
Yeah.
As wonderful as he is, boy, that's who you're missing. Where's the rest of the talent there?
Yeah, I well, just going on to that as well, I think we could be in a similar situation with Matt Doherty at Wolves.
Yep.
He hasn't been capped yet. His mom is from Holland, so maybe if Ronald Koeman picks up the phone and say, "Look, come in here and play with us,"
Yep.
What would he do?
Yeah, you look at a player like Tommy Delaney for Denmark. He was never a part of the Ireland setup. But,
one of our own.
Yeah, don't think they ever gave him a call there. Joe Lapira there for the 07 cap. It reminds me of some of those great Irish luminaries. The old Irish granny coming through.
Yeah, I think he's back playing through Rubino, I think.
I'd say he is.
Where he belongs.
Yeah, it is. I think Jason McAteer may have summed him up pretty well. Very difficult for Martin and Roy at the minute. Results aren't going well. The talent just isn't coming through. It's an uphill battle, and it's getting harder and harder. And what does that say if you're, a young 19, 20-year-old player coming through? Yeah. Irish granny. Do you hold out? Maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, you're going to push on with your professional career. Maybe by a couple of years, you might be good enough for England.
Yeah, I think there's a batch coming under 16, 17. You have a couple of guys at Spurs. You have that goalkeeper that moved to Man City, Bazuna. Good Irish name that.
Yeah.
He's one of our own as well. He's after signing for Man City, so there's a crop there coming, but will they filter through is another thing. And I don't think the current management team are good to bring young players through. So look, we live in hope.
Now, speaking of that ain't good, we've been talking about this the last couple of days, and we wanted to have a few digs at them. And that's Neil Warnock's Cardiff City.
Oh.
How terrible are they looking?
Oh my goodness! What a shit team!
Connor, we just pulled up their team that had a go at Burnley the other day. Made Joe Hart look world class yet again. Josh Murphy got the only goal there, and his brother Jacob's over at Newcastle. But that boy, who else have I even heard of on this team? We got Sol Bamba at the back, and that says a lot about that squad. Jazz Richards, Danny Ward. Gary Medine, and we saying that is a championship side right there.
Championship. That is. I think they last year did the lowest pass completion of any championship team, and I don't know how they came up.
Zahore up top as well, not exactly banging them in there.
Harry Arthur's their Messi, and he's another player that I wonder what the hell he does on the pitch.
And I've seen him when he was coming up with Bournemouth. Like every now and then, he'd string together a real nice half hour, and you'd say, "Boy, why is he not playing more of a role in the Ireland team?" But that's really it. Like he'll peak out and have a good half hour, but he's just a real anonymous type of player there.
He does a whole lot of nothing, really.
Yeah.
I think there's another Irish guy there as well, left back Greg Cunningham.
Yep.
So he's been in the last couple of Irish squads, so hopefully he can at least get some game time in the Premiership.
Yeah.
Even though probably
love to see him get the team over Cyrus Christie. He couldn't cross a road, so
no. Although he did score a cracker last week for Fulham.
Did he?
Yeah, in the League Cup. So on his left foot. Talk about a swinger.
Oh, lovely. See, I only watch Fulham there for the Mitrovic highlights.
Yeah, he's that's what we need in Ireland.
Yeah,
nice pikey up front.
Oh,
throw a few elbows around the place.
How much would the Ireland fans love Alexander Mitrovic up top there?
Yeah.
Oh, boys, he's just ignorant, throwing the elbows. I love the machine gun celebration.
Yeah. But he's a good player.
He is.
He is a good player. I think Newcastle are sad to let him go now.
That's you're a Liverpool supporter yourself. I support Newcastle, and boy, he never fit the way Rafa Benitez likes to have his team set up. But you say that, and yet Hasselu does.
I think he likes his strikers not to score goals.
I'd say so, and Hasselu does a fantastic job of not scoring goals.
Yeah, he does everything but score goals.
He does, though. Yeah, he'd be a very handy full forward in Gaelic football, I'd say, because he does a real nice job of coming onto the ball and laying it off, and he defends well from the front as well. 2 goals on 11 shots this season. He's taken 11 shots in 7 starts, I believe it is. That's Newcastle going to be having a hard time to stay up. I think Cardiff are definitely going to be finishing bottom. I think Huddersfield may be worse than them. but I have a hard time picking three sides worse than Newcastle, at least to start the season.
Will Cardiff beat Derby's 11 points from what year was it?
07-08.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had pulled up this team here yesterday. We were going through it yesterday, and just some of the names on this team. The first one that jumped out to me as an American fan was Benny Feilhaber, and he's says it all. Brazilian who played for the United States.
Yeah,
that says just about everything you know about him. Roy Carroll coming fresh out of his alcohol rehab and playing there for that squad. There was just a real dearth of talent in that Derby side. Of course, they took 4 points off Newcastle, including a nice win. But they did have a stronger start to the season than what Cardiff have done with their 2 points through 7, I believe it is. Yeah. But it's going to be hard to see where their wins come from. And even Neil Warnock's preparing the supporters. He said they know that they're just here for fun, to go to the big grounds, to see the big teams. And he thinks that the supporters aren't expecting too much. And it seemed a bit of a dangerous quip. But I've always enjoyed Neil. I think he's a good laugh. And
I'm looking forward to when himself and Rafa Benitez meet again. They didn't exactly get on the last time.
No, they didn't.
They were in the Premier League together. Yeah, I think Neil Warnock he's a good championship manager, but he's an awful Premier League manager.
And Ian Holloway and that.
Even Ian Holloway played some good football, but this guy is just, you lump it up top and hope for the best.
And then they're not and they're lumping it up top to Zahore.
Yeah, like he said that Saul Bamba was every bit as good as Virgil van Dijk last season. That says it all about that man. I mean, he should have been signed into some home after he said that.
Yeah, send him off to the laundry. Yeah. Oh yeah, but we look at then, talking about the terribleness of that team. Look at this 07-08 Derby side. See Darren Moore, Tyrone Mears, who crawled out of the window of the office at the training ground and snuck off to France to go get a loan deal. That's one of my favorite tales about that. Stephen Bywater, what a name, Oh, Jay McKelvey.
Yes, yeah. A special left back who was not left-footed or right-footed.
Yeah.
What a summary of a player.
The hard-working Michael Johnson, who wasn't even that Michael Johnson, not even the one that played at City. Darren Moore, built like a brick shithouse and about as mobile as one as well. Robert Earnshaw was on that side. Club record signing there for ages, or actually for 10 days. Until they brought in somebody else, and Robbie Savage came in, and this is in 2007, winter 2007, 2008. This is not 2001 that they're bringing in Robbie Savage. He was well past it himself. Giles Barnes is on that side. Kenny Miller up front.
What a nasty piece of
nasty
shit.
Yeah, scored the winner against Newcastle that time.
He can't hold down a club now.
No, he can't. Rangers, they're going fairly well.
Rangers are going well. They're going better than Celtic, which is a
5th place Celtic.
Yeah, which is a surprise. That league is a bit topsy turvy at the moment. You've Hearts.
Hearts 5 points clear at the top.
Yeah, they were the team that ended Celtic's unbeaten run last season. They look good. They beat them. I think it was. It's great to see Hearts and Hibs for a change.
It is. Yeah, it's good to see Hibs back up as well. Good club there. 20,000 seat ground. Back in the Scottish Premiership, and even Aberdeen down there in 7th. They've had a great run lately. They're playing in the Europa League qualifiers the last 4 or 5 years, and they're having a struggle to start the season. Yeah,
it'd be good to see a bit of a competitive league until at least March, April time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Stephen Gerrard seems to be doing a decent job, at least in Europe. Anyway. Got a good 2-2 draw against Villarreal in the first round of the Europa League. He's got a couple of good players in there. He got a couple of guys on loan from Liverpool, Ovia Jaria and Ryan Kent, and he seems to have them set up very well defensively,
which I suppose shouldn't be that big of a surprise. Coming through winning his Champions League under Rafa as well.
Gerard Houllier. Yeah. So he's learned from some good coaches, and it's good to see him going up against Brendan Rodgers. Although I did see him a couple of weeks ago against, or I think it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, against Celtic, and they were holding up for dear life for the whole 90 minutes.
They were. I did watch that one as well. Yeah. The Celtic looked a different class there, but they're 5th and 6th in the Scottish Premiership right now, and I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for that league. They showed it on television where I'm from in Chicago, on our local sports channel.
They used to show it on TG TG Carr back home as well years ago. So yeah, a bit of a soft spot when the Rangers and Celtic were in their pomp. There was some great games, some very high scoring games. Yeah, I remember Celtic stopping Rangers from going 10 in a row, and that was a good season. You had your Henrik Larsson, he was some great players like that.
Oh, he's a fantastic player himself, and one of my favorites. Even it was only 6 years ago now. Celtic taking down Barcelona at home. In the Champions League there. Tony Watt with the infamous winner. And
Tony Watt, where is he?
I believe he is at he's at Dundee. I think is where he's at now. He's somewhere in the SPL. Let's take a look here.
What happened, Tony Watt?
Well, I know he went to Belgium, and I think he had a few too many pints. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Never came home.
Yeah, exactly. I was at St. Johnstone now.
Oh,
I scored twice in 4. So, but boy, looking at that Celtic team, that's not exactly looking like a team full of world beaters. No, they've been getting some good talent in on loan lately. But they got Diedrich Boyata, Scott Sinclair's all right.
Yeah. They lost Moussa Dembele to Lyon.
Big loss there, but he was far too good to be playing there. Great player.
Yeah.
Make sure we're not talking about the one from Spurs there.
There's a few of them around.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And I believe didn't Fulham have both of them at one point for a season or two? They had 2 Moussa Dembeles.
Yeah. I think he was in the youth system. The younger the striker Moussa Dembele.
Yeah.
While Moussa Dembele was playing centre mid for Fulham.
Going back to Tony Watt there for a second, spent last year in the Belgian second division with Leuven. Yeah. And I know a thing or two about Leuven because that's where Ronan Lehan keeps getting sent by work.
Oh, nice.
And my understanding is there's a few pints to be had in Leuven. So,
yeah. So he moved because he heard Lehan was going to Leuven.
Exactly.
I wouldn't blame him, no chance.
Yeah, let's see. He was training with Aberdeen and then ended up signing with St. Johnstone. So hopefully he gets his career back on track because that was one of my favorite goals ever.
Yeah, it was great.
Taking the ball off Xavi after he misplayed it and slotting in the winner there for.
You had Virgil van Dijk in that team.
You did as well, yeah. And there's really hasn't been a Celtic side that's come near that level of success. And they went out in the last 16 Champions League to Juventus that year. Made it through the group, and they've been nowhere near there since. And I love Brendan Rodgers, but
plays good football, but I think European football is not his thing, and I think that might be coming to an end. What about him for the Irish job?
What about him for the Irish job? You're the one that mentioned it, and I hadn't considered that before. It seemed like a fairly decent old idea there.
Yeah, I'd give him a go. At least it would be good to watch.
That would be, yeah. And then he's always good for a good quote as well. And I always love a bit of deluded Brendan as well.
He's a bit of a bluffer now.
He is, yeah.
He's a bit of a bluffer. Yeah. But he gets his team playing good football. That Liverpool team, 2013, 2014, I think it was, when we almost won the league.
A solid second place squad. That was a good team.
Yeah, you had Coutinho, Sterling, Suarez, Sturridge. But again, he couldn't organise a defence, so that was the downfall. Really.
Was Andy Carroll still there that season?
No.
Was he already gone to West Ham?
The year before, yeah. He was. He would have been a nice little plan B.
Yeah, he would have been, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
against the Chelsea team with a few games to go there, we'll win the infamous slip.
Yeah.
When we couldn't break him down, he would have been a nice option to have, but no, wasn't to be.
Yeah, what you make of Liverpool this season? What are you thinking now? About fifth of the way through the season now, getting their feet under them a little bit. Only second place on goal differential.
I think it's going to be a title race this year. I think City, Liverpool, Chelsea. I was very impressed with Chelsea Saturday. I thought they cut through a few times like teams haven't been able to this year. I think they spotted a weakness down the sides of Liverpool. Hazard got in behind Alexander Arnold a couple of times. I think William got in behind Robertson, and only for Alisson pulling off a couple of good saves. Van Dijk and Gomez getting back. I think it could have been over with 10 minutes to go. Hazard had a chance with 10 minutes to go with that Alisson saved. I think that's the problem with Hazard. They're saying that he's going the heir to Messi and Ronaldo's throne, but I think those boys would have stuck that chance away, and that's why I don't think he'll ever be that level.
Yeah, and Rudiger had the quote that I pulled up there. We need to learn to kill matches. It's not only on Aiden's shoulders, We need the other players to help him with scoring. Giroud, Morata, Willian have to score. As a team, all of us have to provide more goals, the defenders as well. So even Chelsea thinking maybe they're relying on him a bit too much.
Yeah, I think Giroud's playing well, but he's a striker who needs to score goals. And Morata just wants to go home.
I think Morata's had just about enough of England now.
He just needs to be brought for a couple of pints and sat down and say, look, go home for yourself, go back to Spain, go back to Juventus, whatever. I think he's lost all confidence. I think he could do the change now.
Yeah, maybe a Pedro up top there.
Yeah, I think you'll see Hazard up top in the middle. I think you'll see him as a false 9, or you'll see him interchangeable with Pedro. I think they'll get plenty of goals that way. Pedro's a good goal scorer. Hazard can get more goals, but he chips in. Just on David Luiz, I thought he was very good, which is surprising. I usually think he's an absolute liability, but that was the best game I ever seen him play, I think. Firmino sat on Jorginho for the whole game, and then David Luiz became the playmaker, and he pulled out some brilliant passes, but it was his defensive side that was very impressive.
David Luiz was saying as well that he's very happy this season. He's feeling a lot more settled. He said if Conte had stayed, he would have been gone.
Yeah.
Which
he's getting the game this year, which helps. I don't think he likes the bench too much. I don't think any player does.
No, and I think with the way he plays as well too, if his timing's a bit off from having sat on the bench a bit, it's going to be a big gap from him if.
Maybe he's getting wise and less rash in his later years.
Yeah, as far as Chelsea goes too, I've always had a lot of time for Olivier Giroud, but as you said, he's got to start finding the back of the net. He's had a very rough patch there for about a year for club and country now, and he's a far cry from the man that's winning the Puskas with his scorpion kicks at Arsenal, and he's never really kicked on at Chelsea.
Yeah, I think if he gets a couple of goals, I think he could get a lot of goals. I think he just needs to find the net once, and I think he'll finish with 15, 20 goals maybe in all competitions.
And you were saying maybe him with a false 9 now, with the Giroud laying the ball off for or Hazard is false 9, Giroud laying it off for him. That might be a nice little deadly 1-2 combo.
Or Giroud coming in off the bench might be a good option as well.
Better than Fellaini anyway, sticking him up.
I think we've been in the soft spot if anything here. I think the more we talk about him, we appreciate his work, if we could call it work. Just another point on Chelsea. A lot of analysts are saying that Kante should be playing in a deeper role, but I think he's doing very well in the more advanced role. I think the game plan is to win the ball high up top, and he's one of the best retrievers of the ball in the game. So I think he wins that ball up top, and he sets the forwards going. Him and Kovacic.
Unbelievable fitness levels from him as well. Like he's out there and he's working his tail off for the whole 90 minutes from what I've seen.
I just hate to play against him. He's just like a rash, and he's small, and he's a big arse in him. He gets his arse in the way of the ball. It's it's very similar to Hazard. Good body strength. Kante always seems to come out with the ball. I don't know how he does it.
I saw a interview there. It was with Robert Huth, and he was saying, how did Leicester manage to win a title? With yourself and Wes Morgan and Danny Simpson in defence. His response was Conte.
Yeah,
that was just left it there. That was his only response there.
Yeah, he's loved by his teammates.
Yeah,
they absolutely love him, and he seems like a very sound man as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he really does. Yeah, and a big part of that French side as well. They won the World Cup and made Paul Pogba look like a decent team player.
Yeah,
so
that could be a problem with Pogba too.
Yeah,
missing Kante, doing the dirty work.
So Pogba to Chelsea, is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think. I don't know who could afford Pogba. I think maybe he's a Real Madrid player. I think maybe he could be the next Galactico. Maybe replace Modric eventually, but they'll be looking for a lot of money, and I don't think he's worth it.
Yeah, Modric already 32 as well. And,
yeah,
I was looking there at the table in La Liga. And, Madrid only scored 12 goals so far this season. They're still going a bit at the front there.
Yeah, Bale's after getting injured as well, but I think he might be okay. But I think Benzema really needs to step up. Really, Asensio needs to step up. They're actually probably better to watch this year than they have been under Zidane. But that Zidane team was very functional, and they knew how to score goals at vital times, and they knew how to get a 1-0 win in a European game.
and they had Ronaldo.
All right, but looking here at this, at the La Liga table here, nobody's running away with it yet, and they're saying every team has a win, and there's only, I believe it's 7 points separating the from first to Eibar at 17th.
Yeah.
There's only 7 points between the squads there, and there's a real solid middle of the table there. Barcelona and Madrid only a point ahead of Sevilla.
Yeah, I thought at the start of the season, I thought Atletico would take beating this year. They're fourth. They're only 2 points behind. They had a good draw with Real Madrid the weekend. Thibaut Courtois actually saved Madrid a few times. Real Madrid. And Sevilla hammered Real Madrid 3-0 last week. They've been coming good. I think they got Andre Silva from AC Milan. I think he's top scorer now in La Liga, so he's finding the net with him and Ben Yedder are two good strikers up front.
Right, I've always enjoyed Ben Yedder.
Yeah, good. He's an unbelievable conversion rate. I think his conversion rate is in the 70% or something like that. He's a brilliant striker, and he put United out of the Champions League last year.
I don't know if I see them getting out of that, going too far in Champions League this season.
Yeah, I think. Look, people are getting a little bit carried away when they beat young boys. Pogba ran the show, and Martial got a goal. But I think, that kind of papered over a lot of cracks. I think if they beat Valencia, they beat them at home. They beat young boys again. They don't lose to Valencia over the 2 legs or over the 2 games. I think they'll probably go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, but it's hard to see going any further than that. Unless Zidane takes over, he's got the Midas touch with the Champions League.
Do you see any other candidates there if they do let Mourinho go? Any realistic? It's really hard to say. Who would be of the stature to go to a club that big, but also be willing to take on what seems like such a car crash of a project.
Yeah, I don't know who's free. Conte.
Conte?
Antonio Conte.
He'd certainly have him sorted out at the back, but then again, with Jose Mourinho in there, you're surprised to see a defense so unorganized.
Yeah, I don't know. Conte is another controversial character as well. I don't think he's a great man manager. Ask Diego Costa about that. I don't know who else goes in there. Zidane.
Yeah.
Conte. Who else is there? Why would you go into a league with Pep Guardiola, Klopp, Pochettino, Sarri?
Yeah, you're going into some place with sky high expectations and seemingly well past. It's not the Manchester United that we grew up with. The largest team in the world. Anymore. Coming back down to earth a bit, and other cream rising to that top now.
Yeah, but they're hanging in there. They're hanging in. They didn't drop down as far as they did like the bad old days with Ron Atkinson and the likes. They're still holding.
I'm sure they're playing the second division under Sexton there for a few years even.
They're holding in there. They'll always have the money to spend. I just don't think they trust Mourinho with it at the moment, and I think they should have gone all in for Pochettino that time. I think Alex Ferguson actually wanted him to go in, but they went for the quick fix with Mourinho, and they got the quick fix, and now it's quickly unfixed.
Sure, they got one second place finish.
Yeah, look,
won the Europa League.
I think Mourinho knows himself. He's not going to beat City and Liverpool.
No, I don't see.
Yeah, it's hard to see United getting top 4 now. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's going to be the tough thing. The Spurs have settled the ship. Arsenal are going well.
Harry Kane will start pumping them in soon enough.
Yeah, he is. He got 2 goals the weekend, and he's always good for almost 30 goals a season. So you have a chance if you have that goal score.
Yeah, even Alan Shearer rates him to break his own record. So we'll see. See how that goes over the coming years. And then taking one look here at Serie A, Juventus 6 points ahead, but looking there from Napoli down to Parma, pretty tight league there. A lot of talent in the mid-table there as well, and that should be an interesting league to watch this year, if only for 2nd through 4th.
Yeah, Inter had a poor start, but they're after getting better now. I think that win against Spurs in the Champions League really brought the confidence back.
That was a good win.
Great win. Icardi got off his duck there as well. So it's great to see Parma back.
It is
one of the stalwarts of the 90s.
Absolutely, yeah. I love their kits, and
some players there, Buffon, Thuram, Cannavaro, Well, it's Crespo.
Man, Crespo.
Veron. Oh, what a team!
I think they had a good result here at the they won beat Empoli yesterday, and
The great Gervinho.
the forehead himself.
Oh, what a fun. Like a frying pan.
So my favorite Gervinho moment when he was with Arsenal. They went to Bradford City in the League Cup, and he was about the least effectual player on the pitch for either side, and just got completely outclassed by Stephen Darby. Put him in his pocket, shut him down, and shame for Stephen Darby there. Had to retire last week. The motor neuron disease, very sad.
Sad news.
But for one night in 2013, he had Gervinho in his pocket, going nowhere.
Forehead and all.
All right, Connor, I think we've just about covered everything. We watched some NFL yesterday, and only 2 unbeatens left. LA Rams and Kansas City Chiefs, who are playing right now. Dallas Cowboys, they had a very nice win yesterday. Dak Prescott marching the team down, getting the game winner. And as far as the kicking side of the game goes, Adam Vinatieri, who's been in the league since 1996, broke the NFL record for most field goals yesterday. He's got 2 Super Bowl winning kicks. He's won 3 rings overall, and he set that record yesterday. Some good action in the NFL. Even Cleveland Browns are looking a little feisty.
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield has given another a new lease of life.
Yeah,
there. He looks very comfortable.
He does.
He looks very comfortable.
When they won last week there, he was making a lot of tight throws.
Yeah.
Putting the ball in very tight spaces. He looks like he's up to the task anyway.
Yeah. Well, he's not Tyrod Taylor, which is a help.
That's
he's a whole lot of nothing as well.
Yeah.
But how about your Bears?
Oh, my Bears are looking fantastic.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack, bringing him in from the Oakland Raiders. What a player he is. The defense is looking elite there.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Yeah, they're and being from Chicago and growing up with good Bears teams, it's never been about the offense of the Bears. It's always been looking for a nasty defense. That's what the fans like to see up there.
Yeah, they like to see blood.
Yeah, and especially once the weather turns up there as well, and it's hard to throw the football, and December, January, and the Bears are looking pretty feisty. I wouldn't be surprised to see them sneaking in the playoffs this year. I don't know if this is their year, but boy, they're looking a lot better than they have the last few years. And
it's like you've got a quarterback now too.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky looking very well. He had the day of his young career yesterday. Missed a few throws that you'd expect him to make, but when you have a stat line like he did, you forgive a few here and there, and I thought he looked fantastic. But, Connor, I think this went fairly well for our first time out anyway. We covered a fair few topics, and I don't think we perjured ourselves too badly.
No, just be careful with the editing and stuff like that. I'll just reach out to Cristiano again if he wants to come and share his side of the story.
I'll be reaching out to Mendez there, seeing seeing what he wants for that. Yeah, but if we come back, we'll do this again later in the week, and maybe recap the midweek Champions League action. Preview the weekend. There's should be some excellent sport going on this coming weekend, including the big one in the UFC. Conor McGregor's return to the octagon, and I don't know if I rate him for that. I'm looking forward to talking to you about that one.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of thoughts there, and maybe a preview as well. Our own club, Celtic Cowboys, nice win at the weekend there, preliminary round of the U.S. Open Cup. Moving on there as well, and some of our boys are in that squad.
Yes, great to see. We're just winning everything now. I think.
I think so too.
Sport we want.
Yeah. We had cups galore. You saw it down at the pub a few weeks ago. There, I think we had 7 cups the club's taken this year. So we like to see a winner around here anyway. All right, I'd say we leave it there, Colin. I'd say that's a successful first one. So again, folks, be sure to let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about. Any compliments are welcome. Criticisms, keep them to your damn self.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time.